Hello and welcome back to Our Life Beginnings and Always. Hope you're all good out there. I'm in a bit of a place where I just kind of don't know if I'm going to stumble over words or have trouble talking tonight, but I am going to try to play this. And I think we're at a point where we could finish it up in this session. So we're going to see. I'm kind of in that mood where I'm ready to move on to the next project, right? I kind of want to keep pushing forward, keep going, keep moving. So, not that this hasn't been fun. Some parts of it have dragged, been a little boring, but I'm ready to move on, and I think we're at that point. So let's see what happens with this story. We had a nice fun day at the boardwalk. We're gonna go back and say goodbye to our moms and Cliff and the Suarez family and get ready to move on and end our little vacation. So we'll see what happens here. On the long drive back from the park, there were moments of conversation and of quiet reminiscing about the past and imaginations of the future. We also decided that Marina is going to move in with Derek into Sunset Bird and continue her job from here until she can someday convince Cliff and Gregorio to let her help run the business and then probably try to, be the next person to run that business when they retire. Of course, the now upcoming move was a major source of discussion. You decided to announce to everyone while they were all together. You determined it would be best to tell people the details. No, we're going to tell everybody right away because that's what Marina wants to do. Marina doesn't care. The decision had been made, so there was no reason to hide it. Sitting in the passenger seat over those hours, you sometimes felt as if you hadn't left that Ferris wheel cabin in the sky. The atmosphere of Derek's car had a similar way about it that made you feel disconnected from the rest of the world. No one else could reach you or him or say it, and you could say anything here. But there was a major difference. The peace and comfortable stasis was only an illusion. You weren't on the slow, unchanging path of that park ride. Derek was speeding down a California highway in a race against time. There was a party at the end of the road, and Derek was never one to be late. When he finally pulled in the apartment complex's parking lot, the car went silent. Its leg of the relay was over, and the frantic whir and rush had to be carried on with your own flesh and bones. Not a moment was wasted snatching up a few belongings you brought along and booking it towards the building. I will say this. Let me say something else before I continue. One thing about this DLC that's been different than playing through the regular R Life is the regular R Life. So I come home tired from work. It's been a long day sometimes, and it was nice to escape into this world for like an hour or so and just be in this different kind of peaceful atmosphere. This has felt like work. Like a lot of this, Derek feels like work. You have to carry so much of his emotional baggage. You don't get to do too much of your own fun stuff. Could you imagine in real life being in a relationship with this man? He feels like work, like a lot of work. Yeah, so that's how this has all felt. And I don't know if it's Derek's fault or just the general vibe of this whole thing, but it has been very not relaxing and refreshing for me like the original. The last set one was pretty good. I have a feeling this might be nice. I hope it's nice. But we'll see. Not a moment was wasted snatching up a few belongings you brought along and booking it toward the building. You passed no one in the halls. Derek had his key in hand already, prepared to unlock the door when that was swung open. You saw the living room you'd grown up so accustomed to empty. The space was untouched since you'd left early that morning, at least as far as you could remember, but Derek didn't celebrate an early victory. He put a finger to his lips and made a show of checking behind the couch and around the kitchen counter just to make certain his family hadn't used their spare keys to prepare another surprise. He trailed behind Derek step for step as he dramatically skulked about his own house. He checked around a corner and you thought you'd try to get a closer look over his broad shoulders to see too. I mean, Marina's taller than him, so... Nicholas and Liz could absolutely not be trusted. If they came by the apartment and found you and Derek gone, they would almost certainly play the same joke twice. However, they hadn't gotten that chance. Derek stood tall and concluded his inspection with that revelation. "We done it. No one is here. We spent the whole day out and still beat them." With a cheer, he fully relished the victory now that it was truly assured. But we still have the face paint. Oh boy.
Man.
The boardwalk with Marina, being on time and getting to see the family before the day's over, things are really all going my way, huh? It's perfect. Derek saying the day was perfect made it so for you, too. Really? After a lifetime of compromises and sacrifices, you were proud to see him getting exactly what he wanted. Really? Are we exactly what he wanted? I'm so glad we get to do this. I feel the same way. It couldn't have gotten better. You deserve to be spoiled sometimes too. Derek Day should be a national holiday. He sighed contentedly over a job well done. How about this?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let's just.
Thank you.
Yeah, his highs are high, his lows are low, man. He grinned at you, full of affection. A major reason why the adventure was so great undoubtedly came down to the fact that it was spent with you. Derek let out an airy laugh. He kept the mood positive on the journey home, but comparing the Derek standing in front of you to now to the one moments before made it clear he'd been holding back. You cut it close with the timing and come through unscathed.
You ready?
Man, I bet they're gonna be here any second. Are you sick of my family yet? I'm not. No, but maybe they're getting tired of me. Why? I can't get... What? I can't get enough of it. They'll be glad about that. They love you. You knew it was true, not only because Derek didn't lie, but because you'd been through enough together to believe in the strength of your relationship with him. That warmed your heart. I mean, I think that maybe Marina lies sometimes, but you know. He smiled fondly, watching over you, and then Derek raised a wry brow. Hold on, I'm gonna text a group chat. I'll ask those slackers where they're at. Taking out his phone and putting on a faux high and mighty air, he narrated aloud the words punched into the screen. Sup? When were you planning on coming over? Me and Marina have been waiting. Oh yeah, we've been waiting a whole 3 minutes, you laughed. Tell them we've been so sad and lonely, you joked. I'll give them a break, they're probably the ones waiting for us. Derek could barely walk through the door, don't tease them. This is how I actually feel. This is how Marina actually feel.
Exactly.
I will do that. He tapped away, snickering, each line took twice as long as it would have if he'd slowed down to avoid typos, or didn't care so much about going over to fix those mistakes. As it would have if he'd slowed down to avoid or didn't care so much. I don't know what that's saying anyway. But he was proper speller even through text, and even when kidding around through text. So it's saying he's going slower to avoid typos, I guess. You got the brilliant idea to send your own family a similar message of phony indignance at their arrival rate, but you were honestly wondering when they might come by. News got back to you immediately. Liz was having a friend take her, and your parents were on the road as they typed. Mom made sure to note that it was all three of them making a trip, Cliff included. My parents and Liz are already coming. It shouldn't be too much longer.
Awesome.
Oh. Derek's own phone finally pinged after his rapid-fire messages. No, we didn't do the dishes this morning, Derek. Jorge replied, he's at my parents' place and they're all gonna drive down. They'll be here soon.
Wait.
Well, that's it, team. Everything's all come together. Wait. An easy smile on his face evened out into a bemused line. His brain was working, and then his mouth dropped open in a terrible realization. Didn't I invite them over for dinner? We don't have time to make food. We could set out snacks, but what kind of dinner party is that? Derek, wop wop. This isn't like the time for this music game. But what I was gonna say here, I realized something yesterday too, is that you don't ever see Terry and Miranda in this act. Like, Marina doesn't get to spend time with their friends, just Derek's family? That's kind of shitty. I said that we'd have as much time as possible at the park. I wasn't considering that meant we'd actually need a dinner. Shoot! We don't even have enough food in the house for how many people are coming. We can make this work? Oh no, I didn't either. You'll figure it out, you always do. You simply shrugged, you burst into laugh. We can make this work. Order pizza. Yeah, exactly, it's fine. I've got an idea. We're gonna get takeout. How about pizza? And the other stuff places like that have. Salads, wings, and so on. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what I was thinking, Derek. Good idea. Yeah, I'd have that. That makes sense for the party, but I'll eat something here. You know it happily. Who answers questions like this? Yeah!
Awesome.
He held it a satisfied thumbs up. I got a few places in mind. I'll check the hours. Wanna see? Derek switched over the tab on his phone to search food near you. You got to look through the pictures of expertly prepared wood-fired pizza. Content browsing continued until the doorbell rang. Of course! In California, it's always wood-fired pizza, right? That's what they always sell, is California pizza ovens and stuff. They have different style out there. I'm not used to it. I like wood-fired pizza, but for this, I wouldn't do that. Alright, here we go. He stuck a finger forward in demonstration of where he was headed, and strolled over. Derek swung open the door as upbeat and flappable as ever. You wouldn't have ever known he was the same man who invited two families over for a dinner party with no plans of preparing a dinner.
Hey!
Good to see you. Thank you. Suarez family. I like that they're all on screen at once. The whole Suarez family was there, crowding the narrow space with smiles on their faces.
Hey.
I'm also here. Your own family member shouted from into the hall. She was speed walking to join up with the rest of the group. Hey! Liz arrived at the door promptly, her lips already curved. I see you've been very busy today. Yup. We did that. Yep, there we go. Thank you, Lizzie. God bless you. You know, I understand, like I said, again, they don't have time to rig multiple outfits for people, but I feel like Liz would be someone who would definitely make sense to have different outfits for. Nicholas and Jorge smirked beside your big sister. Everyone had noticed the big glittery star painted across Derek's face.
Anyway.
Right, we were busy, but you've come at a good time. Marina and I were just going over the game plan.
So?
Oh, what is the plan? We're gonna get pizza, my treat.
Woo!
Thank you, my wonderful son. Thank you, my wonderful son. That's very thoughtful of you. Is it? That feels like the kind of thing people do when they're... God, her grin is... There's something just sinister about Irene. I like her, and I think she's a really nice lady, but just there's something sinister about the way they draw her. I don't know. Maybe it's the eye color. I don't know, or the sharpness of her eyelashes. I don't know. Anyway, pizza always feels like the thing you do when you, like, this whole half-assed, like, it wasn't very planned out. But they probably don't expect that much out of Derek either. He's a bachelor living alone, right? And he's got a friend over. They probably realize he's gonna be busy doing stuff with his friend. Works for me. Derek's last-minute solution had gotten full marks. Speaking with self-satisfaction of a man who'd winged a final exam and still passed, Derek pretended this had gone as he intended all along.
I figured.
I thought you might feel that way about it. Let's not order until everyone's here. Marina says Mrs. and Mrs. Foster and Mr. Holden are gonna show up soon. Yeah, so, like, he knows his family better than anyone, though, too. Murmurs of understanding circulated as the group filed into the apartment. They probably had a lot of nights like this where they were running around busy and then they all had to get pizza because they didn't have time to make food. Derek took on the role of host with vigor and encouraged his guests to get comfortable. They accepted the hospitality and seats were all taken all around. And also imagine you had these three boys who were probably, at least the top oldest two, were probably constantly into sports, and Nicholas probably had activities he wanted to do too, so they had to run around and do all these activities with them all the time and stuff. We are still recording correctly, right? Yes, we are. How was the boardwalk? Mr. Suarez spoke entirely casually when he mentioned the unmentioned. No reason to wait for it to be said directly when it was literally written all over his son's face. Yeah, how was it? Nicholas's repetition was far more exaggerated. There wasn't anything pouty about it, as there would have been only a few years ago, but he needed to make his presence known on the topic. All the different of different ages here. Jamaican patois is convinced that Nicholas is a girl. It's funny. I can see it, but you couldn't be allowed to forget that you went to the boardwalk, and he did not. We had a great time and talked about some very important things.
Wonderful.
Good for you. Nicholas shrugged. He matured enough not to demand inclusion in every activity Derek or Jorge did, even though he still wanted to. Even though y'all hijacked a moment and talked for an entire hour about that. About how you were wanting to be included in your brother's lives and felt like you weren't being. Anyway. Soon, another sharp ring of the doorbell came. You and your sister perked up at the most of that sound. It had to be your parents. Liz disregarded the fact that this was not her apartment and headed straight to answer the door. You hurried to catch up with her. Okay, you know, maybe we give them the spotlight. We haven't gotten to see them and the whole thing. So is this considered a romper now too, or is that a dress? That's a question I have. I don't know. Liz tugged the handle, and then on the other side were the soft faces of your sweet mothers and the more sharply featured, but no less kind, Mr. Holden. Oh, God bless Cliff Holden. Many hellos and good to see yous were said in succession as the Foster family joined with the Suarez clan in Derek's living room. The stars in both you and Derek's skin brought a few chuckles into the mix. It's a real party now. It is a real party now. Not yet. There's still one thing missing. Let's talk topics. Derek took a page out of his mother's book and offered explanation to the newcomers who had to have wondered.
What do you think?
We're getting pizza if that's cool with you.
Yum. That's fine. That is fine, sweetie.
No complaints here.
Nice!
Perfect. With this size of a crowd, I'd say we should get 3 large pizzas. You and your brothers could eat a full large pizza each, probably. What are you talking about, Derek? A friendly round of suggestions and debate. So could Marina, for that matter. A friendly round of suggestions and debates over the most ideal topping splits commenced. More than one person wanted meat and veggie supreme. The Suarez parents both loved that one, and it had grown on their sons as they grew. That's what I always get. Most agreed that having at least a couple simple options made sense, and Derek decided he'd get his favorite chicken barbecue since that was he was the one making the order and couldn't be stopped. Look at that! Look at Derek doing what he wants! I'm so proud of this man's growing up. No one else in the group had any intention of ruining that for Derek. It was incredible to see him decide on something purely for himself. That's how the plan of full meat and veggie supreme pizza, a half cheese, half pepperoni pizza, and a half pizza of chicken barbecue was determined. And then the other half I get to pick, right? Because they're gonna have to do it that way. Yep. I bet the half cheese is Liz. That seems like a very Liz thing to order. I'm surprised there was no pineapple and whatever, but yeah. You know what? I am gonna offer up a suggestion for the last half because I want this, and I'm sure it's in here. But let's look. Yeah, what about Hawaiian? There you go. We get even more meat and veggie supreme. More cheese would be a safe bet. Extra half pepperoni would be smart. I'd like another half of chicken and barbecue. How about all veggies? We can get an all meat half. What about Hawaiian? I like an Alfredo side. Yeah, I don't like Alfredo on pizza. They've got a spinach pesto pizza I'd like to try. That's the one I probably wouldn't be. I'd eat it if other people got it, but I wouldn't order it myself. We could try their Philly cheesesteak option. Personally, out of all these, I'd probably get this or the barbecue chicken because that is my favorite too. Thank you, Derek Suarez. Or the meat and veggie supreme. But how about Hawaiian? I feel like that's what Marina would want. That made your mom snort. You knew it was coming. I thought we already had a Hawaiian here. Oh! Oh my god, she just does it. She just makes this joke about her wife. Ma laughed and swatted her wife for that one. She was aware a pun was coming. But even after a decade together, she still hoped Mom... After decades together, she still hoped Mom might pass an opportunity for change. Hawaiian pizza would be fine, Marina. The rest of the room accepted your idea as well. And... you ordered something besides pizza. The meal was officially set. Let's see what the options are, but I don't... A cup of cola. Really? You just get like a cup? You get like a whole bottle at these places. They don't just give you a cup. Wings. We getting wings? I think we're getting wings, right? Derek's pay it. It's all on Derek. Who cares? We're getting wings. I don't like wings that much, but we're getting wings. And that was all. Nico and Jorge were emboldened by your special request. They hadn't realized it was an option until you broke ground. Each of the younger Suarez boys asked their big brother for a soda, root beer for Jorge, and an orange for Nicolas. Derek gladly accepted the request. Nicolas is a man after my own heart, apparently. After it was all said and done, Derek made the call to the local pizza place. He had it arranged for delivery. He glanced over at the attendee once he finished the task. I got pizza today, too. I got a meat and veggie supreme. If the sound keeps cutting out, it's because my headphones are doing something screwy. I apologize for that. I also wanted to talk for a second about soda choices. I have officially decided. I mean, I don't drink soda. For the most part, I don't drink. I gave up caffeinated sodas over a year ago, Haven't looked back. I do like the occasional like lemon lime soda or like orange, sometimes root beer, but not even usually root beer. I don't like dark soda anymore. Like I just don't. Like somebody gave me a Coke for free and I felt obligated to drink it. But I didn't like it. It tasted gross. I encourage anybody out there, try this. If you think you need to change your diet or change something about your lifestyle, give up Coke, Pepsi, Mountain Dew. Give up caffeinated soda. Give up dark soda. Try this. You won't crave it. You won't want it after a while. I mean, maybe for a few weeks or something, but once you don't want it anymore, you're not going to ever want it again. I promise. It's amazing. I like orange soda. I appreciate like things like orange soda and ginger ale and stuff way more now than I did back when I was drinking Coke and Pepsi and all that. And it really is a special treat. We got some time to kill. Can I get anybody a drink? That goes for you too, already getting something too. You don't have to wait to hydrate.
What a kind host.
Some requests were made for water and seats were taken to settle for the wait. You get comfortable on a couch yourself. Derek collected 2 armfuls of water bottles. He went around the room, passing drinks out to each person, even those who didn't ask for one. Of course he did. It seemed staying refreshed was not an option after all. It was an order. You and the others near the coffee table got served first, then he went around the dining table to catch the ones hanging out there. Marina. He called out to you as he swung back around on your way. Upon arrival, he rested his arms across the top edge of the couch. Derek grinned cheerily. Something good on his mind. A soft thump could be heard in the air. You'd guess on the other side of that couch he was tapping his heels together. Should we tell people now? He didn't need to explain what that meant. You and Derek had one momentous event that no one had been made aware of yet. The move. Yeah, this is probably the best time to let them know. Am I at least going to get to do it? Oh yeah, you just did a hand for Derek to go ahead. You can tell them, you whispered. Yeah. I'll handle this. It's their decision. It's their big moment. It's not Derek's. Like, Derek is all proud of himself that he got you to move there with him, but like in real life, I don't like Derek very much as an adult. I'll be honest. Especially as some of the sleeping on the couch thing, and then he was like watching you sleep when he woke up thing. But like Marina and Derek are like this, man. You can't see me doing it, but Derek nodded, surely and supportively. He bowed out of the stage was yours. You cleared your throat to get everyone's attention. As you did, you did succeed in getting every eye on you. You're not getting rid of me after all. Derek's gonna let me move into his apartment. The crowd gasped and then went quiet. That's not how I would have done it, geez, but that's a very Marina way to do it. But not for lack of feeling. Emotion was palpable, bubbling inside a shell of self-restraint. The first to express the thoughts of the majority was Ma. You know we wouldn't want you to live your lives for our sakes, but I have to admit I'm so glad you're going to be that close. Agreed. There's no denying this is exciting. I mean, who is going to be more happy than your moms? Hey, we're practically neighbors again. That's good with me. Okay, Cliff. This comes with a caveat. We want to work at your store. We want to help run the business. It probably won't let me say that, but you know. Mrs. Suarez and Mr. Suarez shared similar sentiments as your parents, and so did their sons.
That's great.
It's a smart plan for you two, I think, and it's made a lot of other people happy.
Hooray!
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. I don't mind having you around more.
We could go to that bakery all the time, Nicholas. I'd love to see Xavier again. He doesn't mind. He was trying to act like a grown-up, but that gracious statement didn't do much to hide the thrill coming out of his every pore.
Yeah.
This is great. There's so many things we weren't able to do on this trip, and now we'll be able to anytime. I'm excited to meet Nova and see what they're like. Nicholas played down his true feelings while Jorge wore them openly. The oldest brother had to chuckle over the reversal. It was amazing and relieving to be welcomed home. You were more certain of your choice than ever. The wholesomeness of the moment wouldn't have been complete if it was only sweet. Liz cut in with a dose of snark that made the taste perfectly right.
Seriously?
Jeez, I was not expecting so much to come out of this trip. That seriously was cool. Let's hear that again.
Seriously?
I don't know if I ever heard that before.
That feels like a Liz line they did just for this. No offense, but Derek didn't seem like the type to make such major plans so quick. He isn't. Derek thought a lot about it. Which makes it sound creepy.
Oh yeah, one thing you can't say is that I didn't consider it enough. I spent too much time just thinking.
Laughter and lighthearted conversation continued within the walls of that apartment. Everyone was ready to pitch in with the move and had suggestions to offer. And then everything was put on hold when for the third time the doorbell rang.
Dinner's here!
Nicholas made a beeline to the door, his two older brothers at his heels. They all gathered the spoils and the delivery driver gave a polite thanks and promptly closed the apartment up again. Jorge and Nicholas peered into the semi-open, opaque lids to figure out which drink was theirs, and Derek especially handed you the thing that you got for yourself. The thing that I got for myself was to share, because you get wings to share. We don't just get it for themselves. The feast was laid out on the counter, savory, steamy, and very cheesy. Derek stood between the guests and the meal to make a declaration.
All right.
Everyone in my house, instead of the youngest going first, the oldest do.
Good.
Ah yes, respect our elders. So the moms, right? So which one of the moms is older? We're gonna find out.
How kind.
That's...
I can't believe I'm considered an elder. How'd I get so old?
Mom and Ma offered comfort and condolences. They'd been members of that club for many a year. All the grown-ups filed through as a big group, at the point in their lives determining who was truly the oldest and of the old wasn't worth the trouble. When they'd picked over the cream of the crop, Liz made a clean sweep all on her own. You and Derek went together next, followed by Jorge. Finally, Nicholas's turn came. His mouth was hooked in an amused bend. Being the last was a novelty, and he took his sweet time picking out the slices he wanted. Why not? He wasn't holding anyone up. Eventually, Nicholas selected his dinner, and the chairs around the apartment were filled with happy guests whose plates were equally full. It was a relief to see your and Derek's big announcement hadn't impacted anyone's appetite. Good food and a pleasant conversation were enjoyed at Casa Derek. Nico went back to the boxes for seconds and thirds without needing anyone's permission. After eating, Jorge moved from table to chat with Liz away from the parents, and Nicholas abandoned the last bites of his fifth piece of pizza to scurry after his big brother. Yeah, Nicholas would have a healthy appetite, I figured. It's one of those big metabolisms, thin people kind of things. Derek stuck next to you as a rule, but there were cases where an exception was needed.
Well, this is your party and Liz's, sort of. I won't hog you. You should get to see everyone who's here to see you. I'll be around.
It was true. Two families had gathered for you and your sister on the final day of your trips. On your end, the event had turned into more of a welcoming party than a farewell, but Liz was still leaving, and you didn't know for sure when you would be able to actually move. The time you had right now wasn't to be missed. Yeah, I will, thanks. Derek took a step back with a nod and a wave. He at least was someone you'd certainly see again soon. This music seems new. Has this been in here before? I haven't noticed it.
Is this usually like the end of moments, or was this especially for this DLC?
I like this music.
I'm becoming more aware of things. Anyway, we probably get to see all of them in order, so let's do moms. And I guess they consider Cliff our parent because he is our dad, kind of. Your parents remained at the dinner table, sipping on their water bottles and pretending to be nonchalant. They sent too many fervent glances between you and Liz to be convincing. Hello, sweetie.
Hey.
Welcome over.
How are you?
What's happening? We're gonna play cards with those cards I got you for Father's Day, Cliff. Hi, I just wanted to see how you were doing. We're great.
How sweet.
Oh, we've been having a wonderful time. I know this trip is for you and Derek, but I'm still grateful Pam and I could be here a little. I would have loved to have seen more of you! But the other trip is more for you, right? Ma wrapped an arm around Mom with a light chuckle. Mom leaned her head gently into her wife, and they both beamed. Time together is more important than time apart. Every bit counts. I like that as they've gotten older, they've gotten more affectionate with each other. That is a nice touch that they've done with the moms in this. It's been very sweet. I love to see it. I feel like my parents have gotten, maybe not more outwardly affectionate, but they definitely seem more to do stuff more together now and, like, considerate of each other more than they were when I was a kid.
Because we were all busy running around, living our own lives, going to work and stuff, and school and everything else. And now I feel like people slow down and take more time for each other. And I'm not there in their day-to-day when it's just the two of them, you know? Time together is more important than time apart. Every bit counts. Well said. I feel the same way. I love you, moms. I love you all. I love you all. Us too, kiddo. Absolutely. Thanks. He's still having a hard time getting used to being part of the family. Mom wrapped you in a big hug, and then you felt the weight of another person in your arms. You realized Mr. Holden got pulled into in her arms. Your parents held you tight for another minute before letting you go. Like Derek before them, they didn't intend to monopolize you forever. You left them to their own amazing company and drifted back towards the front of the living room. Let's go see the Suarezes, and we'll save the kids for last. Derek's parents were contentedly sitting together on the couch, watching the scene of their children and friends gathered together in one place was a rare joy. But when you approached, Mr. Suarez perked up from his peaceful reverie. He squished against the missus, patting the freed spot on the cushion. Mrs. Suarez had to physically support her husband in the invitation by catching his shoulder, otherwise he would have toppled right over her into her lap. I love how much of a goof Gregorio is. She laughed over the dramatic infringement of her personal space. Thanks, don't mind if I do. It's okay, I can stand. Oh, alright. He accepted your answer and made no attempt to undrape himself from his wife. With a final snicker, Mrs. Suarez lifted him up, hefted him up and over. He flopped into his original spot like a big stuffed teddy bear. That woman's probably pretty strong for having to lift all those boys when she was a kid, when they were kids. She nodded to herself over a job well done, then made eye contact with you. I hope you've enjoyed your big city vacation, Marina. I definitely did. Glad to hear it. As the pleasantries faded off, the Suarez spouses shared a meaningful glance with each other. The weight of the occasion hadn't been forgotten. Well, while we've got you here, there's something I want to say.
Thank you.
It's thank you for looking out for Derek. We tried to take care of him, but I know he did more for his brothers and his parents than he should have had to do. He needed someone who could be there for him truly, and on his own level.
Yes.
It was good he had such a friend. Derek will always have his family, but Marina is still irreplaceable.
My thoughts exactly.
And not only to Derek. Mrs. Suarez spoke kindly to Mr. Suarez, but her gaze was peeking over at you. Thank you. Thanks, you Snivel. I'm grateful I can keep being here. Honestly, I'm moving here for more than just my own family. I want to be near the whole Suarez family, too. We are flattered.
Yes.
We are. They're like a second family we had growing up, right? I feel like that. People are lucky when they have such good family friends like this. You know, we had friends and neighbors when I was a kid too, and like a lot of my aunts and uncles felt like second and third families and stuff too. I had people like this, and I completely understand this feeling. Hand in hand, the two wonderful people who raised your amazing friends smiled up at you. You got to enjoy a little more quality time with Mr. and Mrs. Suarez. Eventually, they requested a moment with their eldest child, likely to share the same sentimental matters with him. That wasn't something you'd stand in the way of, and made room for the two to go have a special parent-to-child chat. Jorge, Nicolas, and Liz were gathered in a corner of the room, fully engrossed in conversation. Jorge's hand batted the air between the group as Nicolas jerked a finger about. What's up, you three? You were welcomed with a circle with friendly smiles. Jorge folded his arms and switched from one explanation to another. Nicolas was giving something to the effect of a recap to Liz. While talking about the trip, we realized she'd yet to hear about a new interesting acquaintance, so she was being filled in. Apparently, the Xavier person running some bakery used to paint faces at the boardwalk? Small world. There's no end to the odd connections you end up making with people. Yeah, especially when Nicolas calls a psychic and hijacks the entire moment to talk about people that we don't care about anymore.
Yeah.
We were getting philosophical. I'm lucky I got to meet each one of you. I'm looking forward to who else we meet in the future. We also connected with that psychic who knew Shiloh. Yeah, that was weirder. It's almost as weird as meeting the dancer kid again. Did we meet the dancer kid again? Who's the dancer kid? Oh, Baxter. Baxter's just devoted to the dancer kid now. Lol. Yeah, this. Who is Shiloh? I've heard him mentioned, but Shiloh is an old dear friend-ish of mine. We don't talk much these days, though. Our paths went very different directions. Look at that. We're back to studying Caesarius. The younger boys stared blank-faced, no, more confident in their understanding than they were a minute ago. Yeah, you're stupid psychic, Nicholas. That's how we feel about that. Your sister was satisfied, snickering into her palm. Besides all that, I have to say I'm surprised Nicholas was the one who reconnected with Xavier. Wouldn't he struggle to recognize them? You know, considering the fact that he was asleep the entire day? I fell asleep after I got my face painted, thanks, and I've been to that boardwalk more than once. I didn't conk out every time. Try a better tease.
Wow! Whoa, diva over here, I love it.
The dare was meant for Liz. That's what he readied himself for, and why he spoke with boldness. All right. Unfortunately for Nicholas, however, it was Jorge who took on the challenge, speaking plainly with a mischievous twinkle deep in his eyes. You know it wasn't going to go well for his little brother. The only reason Xavier was able to recognize you out of any of us is because you're still a little kid, just taller. How's that? Nicholas pouted. That round he had no comeback. However, he did have a new strategy. Nicholas looked to you, his only potential ally, and pleaded like the child he insisted he wasn't. The irony wasn't lost on Nico, and he intentionally played to that. Marina, these two meanies are ganging up on me. Leave Nicholas alone, he's a sweet boy. Well, Jorge does have a point. Yeah, I'm glad you haven't changed, Nico. You're the best the way you are. Clearly, Jorge and Liz haven't changed either. I'm glad. It's not Nico's fault he hit on a great style at 6. Let's go after our sister and Jorge instead of Nicholas.
Totally.
Right, you're still big kids too. Marina said so. But Marina was glad about it. And we were teasing you. If Marina appreciates that, I'm not sure how much of a defense that is. Hey, you can be glad someone hasn't improved. That doesn't mean it's a compliment. You, Liz, Jorge, and Nicholas laughed together and continued to chat on the mysteries of life. None of them said this was goodbye. But when the evening wore on and you needed to move away from the sibling group, the CUs shared between you meant the more than usual. You'd worked the room, made your rounds, and had a few minutes to yourself. You used to think and reflect. There was a lot to consider. Life was barreling forward for you. Unfortunately, no inner peace or full understanding of the universe came while you zoned out in a corner. Perhaps as a consolation, you were rewarded with Derek returning to you after finishing his talk with Mr. and Mrs. Suarez, and he had an idea.
So?
Hey, wanna go out to the balcony? Get some fresh air? Same as he did when he first parted ways with you. Derek pointedly left the most crucial part of his motivation unsaid. Yeah, that was a time we had. This might be the last time you had a chance to be alone together before you had to go. That sounds nice, Derek. Cool. He quietly went to the sliding glass panels at the end of the living room. Progress halted. Arms folded, Derek stared at the closed doors and impassable wall. Oh, that's right, we're getting on a plane tonight. We're not spending another night here. That's right. I was thinking, like, right after this party, basically. I was thinking we were gonna have time alone together after everybody goes home, but no, probably not. Aren't you gonna get that for me? Ah, it came full circle. Oh, man, there we go. This whole thing, this has been a fun running gag, at least. You strangled a laugh. That was something you should have seen coming. It was what you wanted. Of course, Derek would end up letting you have it. So, the whole, like, thing was gonna, if we hadn't been doing this, it wouldn't have been a running gag, right? You accepted the baton in the form of a door handle and opened it. After you.
Thank you.
Why, thanks, Marina. Yeah, that "thank you" is one of my favorite lines from this. Derek passed on by with his head held high. You followed right after. The event was still alive with small pockets of conversation. You and Derek managed to slip away without notice. As soon as you walked out, a warm evening breeze caressed your body. It carried the sharp scent of the ocean and a delicate perfume of the flowers who made their own home in Derek's place. Derek ignored the one lonely chair in the veranda and rested up against the rail exactly as he did the first time. On the horizon, the sea gleamed like molten gold encased in a city of silver. Encasing a city. This is the kind of writing, man. I love that. You leaned against the railing too.
Out there, he had a spot and you had yours. All was as it should be. All was as it should be. The seemingly endless expanse in front of you with nothing more than a few thin bars between you and it was a welcome sight. When both of you settled in, Derek grinned as if it was any other day, or rather because he couldn't help smiling at you no matter the circumstances.
Nice work.
Good job, team. This was a successful dinner party and a successful visit to the hole, I'd say.
It was great. Hear, hear. I think so too. Go team. I had better vacations, he joked.
Woo!
He slowly bounced on one foot. The tap-tap of that was the only sound between you for a time. You simply enjoyed one another's undivided company. His gaze parted from yours. He had nothing in particular to take his attention, so Derek was simply staring straight ahead.
Phew.
The future's looking bright, Marina. I love this city and my family, but honestly, it really was missing something. Coming back to Prison Vista knowing you were gone already was a blow.
This seems so much nicer than the idea as if we were making Derek move to be with us.
That's patched up now. I'm so pumped you're gonna be moving in.
Boy, this would be a whole different vibe and mood if we picked that.
I feel like I can get off a treadmill for the first time ever in a decade and go somewhere, possibly on a walk with my partner.
Well, I hope you don't mean partner that way, because that's not happening. It thrilled you to see Derek bursting with real optimism, not simply whining and hoping that it would be okay in the face of fears, but having certainty that it would all be good. You'd both embrace what is coming next with open arms. I don't think you're going to find them such a good roommate. That's what I like to hear. I'm looking forward to it too. Here's to us, Derek. I think we've earned that. I'm looking forward to it too.
Awesome.
And then a swooping sound stretched your attention away from Derek. The sliding door had been opened. Liz, right? No, these guys. The youngest son skipped in as if invited, and the middle child followed after. Jorge was less cheeky, but equally unrepentant. Hi, Derek. Hi, Marina.
Hello.
What's going on? Derek smacked a hand against his forehead.
There's no privacy anywhere, even in my own house.
I really like this. I might, yeah, that's probably, this is a vibe. Okay.
Hey.
Nicholas handled the childish display with unearned airs of maturity. His poise was tall, and he cut an accusing figure through the air. You're the one who invited us over. If you wanted to be alone with Marina, why did you throw a party with several other people? That was a strong point. Worse still for Derek. Jorge had an even better one. Honestly confused by his big brother's reaction, he plainly stated a key consideration. This whole side of the apartment is glass. We could see everything happening without opening the door. Coming over feels more polite to me than watching from the inside. At that, Derek snorted a laugh. He was less ashamed of what you were doing than Nicholas was for interrupting him.
I see how it is.
That's another good one, too.
Fine, it made sense to get together one more time before they left, but I'm regretting being so reasonable now. One of these days we might learn to be more self-centered, and then you'll be sorry.
Sorry.
I kinda doubt that. The part about you ever being selfish, not about us being sorry over it.
Yeah, sorry bro, that's not happening. Don't be mad, Derek. I'm happy having Jorge and Nico around. Now I'm with Derek. Party's over. Everyone go home, he teased. I forgot how much of a problem this kind of thing was, he laughed. Jorge, Nicholas, that's not alright. You should have at least knocked. You sighed. You shook your... I'm happy having them around. Yeah, take that, Derek. Marina likes all the Suarez men.
Thanks.
Thanks, Marina. See, this is the real reason why I can never be spoiled. These two here hog all that kind of attention.
But that couldn't be the end of it. Trouble came in threes. Your own sibling appeared from behind. She leaned against the doorway, leering at the scene. Sneaking outside while your siblings and parents were here. I thought Derek was more polite than that. One rotten apple spoiled the rest. Nicholas and Jorge had originally barged in with pure intentions of being with you. Now they were snickering over Liz's jabs at your and Derek's expense. I'm a bad influence on him. Sorry we couldn't babysit you the whole time, Liz, you quipped. All we wanted was some peace and quiet, you lamented. You rolled your eyes. This could not get more embarrassing. I'm a bad influence on him. I think it's the good kind of bad influence. Of course this happened. Why expect anything else? That's what Derek's wryly lifted brows seemed to express.
You know, we were just talking about how polite I am and how it's too much in my opinion.
From even further in the house, Mr. Suarez waved a hand, popped up over your sister's head.
It's okay, we're fine on our own. Enjoy your time together. Your parents are bursting with laughter, and effectively trying to model that staying quiet would have been less obtrusive than enjoying the situation.
Really?
Dad. Your trouble estimates are proving to be highly underestimated. Your trouble estimates are proving to be highly underestimated. It didn't come in 3, it came in as many amounts as physically possible. Mrs. Suarez came to get her husband, clearing a path through Liz, Jorge, and Nicolas.
Excuse me.
She escorted him back to the couch without fuss, but no amount of cordialness on her could smooth out the 3-ring circus. Derek barely saw the retreating forms of his abashed parents or your moms, and Mr. Holden giggling fit in the distance over the set of siblings watching and waiting for what would happen next. Or even the set of siblings watching and waiting for what would happen next. His arms were folded and his brain was working. You and he had become the center of the universe, and that wouldn't do. In the end, Mr. Reliable himself went for his oldest, most reliable solution to awkward situations. Hey, look over there!
What?
What? While the others were clearly distracted by Derek's fantastic ploy, said Mastermind slid nearer to you and whispered intently. Run. Run. You ever hear that song thing? The word meme? Sorry, I had to fix something. I wanted to fix something there for a second. You nodded imperceptibly to everyone but Derek, whose focus was set entirely on seeing that gesture. You both knew what had to be done. Your hand found his and yours without yours without tearing your eyes from the target, an escape route. Out the front! You dashed through the opening left by Mrs. Suarez, speeding by Liz before she could block the way again. The elders were shocked and the younger ones were shouting, but you didn't stop. Through the gap in the sliding glass door, past the couches, and out of the apartment's entrance, you and Derek ditched the whole party in a blink. Couldn't we just jump off the balcony? This isn't that high, right? Together you flew down the stairs. There was no patience to wait for an elevator. Once on ground level, you exploded through the last set of doors in your path and onto the sidewalk, leaving laughter and joy in your wake. You may have escaped the building, but who knew if they'd follow you out? This wasn't something you put past your siblings. The hand gripping yours still held tight. Derek encouraged you along, beaming wide. Let's go. We got a special Derek cut-in. Wow. He looks a little less bulky from this angle. But there's Derek with his star, and he looks younger too. He also looks more normal. Like the head fits the body more in this part. Like this just feels more right. Yeah, make sure you keep up. Okay, let's go, you joking guy. Make sure you keep up. Friends, babysitters, partners in crime. No matter the circumstances, you and Derek were always a team, and together you were unstoppable. In Derek's bright eyes, you saw reflections of your past. That first day you met when he bounded up to you so unafraid, the time he'd much less bravely bolted from a very cross Elizabeth. Your grand exit from a different party, one you hadn't been invited to. And the moment you arrived in the Prism City bus station on such a short and long time ago, when he'd come running for you. Each happy moment you experienced became only a memory of what used to be, but that's what life was, and it was okay. Right then you were running side by side. You wouldn't take it for granted, you wouldn't waste the chance. Instead, you would keep going for as long as your feet could carry you. As it should be, you and Derek took another step forward and then another, forward and forward and forward down the glistening city street and towards the rest of your lives. Thank you for beginning a life here. Thank you so much for playing our game. For play our game. You can come back again always. You're the best player ever! Wow, that's it. That's it. DLC info, what does that say? Oh, that's just all the stuff I have. Yeah, I do have that. So I don't think there is no wedding DLC for those guys. It's just Cove. You can only marry Cove. Wait. Yeah, that's just... Huh. And that goes on for a long time. I'm not ever doing that. It's very long. Anyway, I just wanted to see that. So thanks for coming along with me, right? This was fun. Like I said, I had some thoughts. I've kind of expressed my thoughts on this DLC as I've gone along. There's a lot less feeling and emotion in the Derek DLC than there was in the whole Cove story. I feel like. But it came later. It wasn't part of the main game. That ending was really good. Really sweet. Like, they do wrap it up well. They flounder a little bit with the moments. Derek's moments had always been kind of boring, because Derek himself is kind of like the boring, well-behaved character. I'm really curious what it would be like romancing Baxter Ward. I might try that at some point. Maybe for next summer. We'll be at that point. I'll be at that point where I can do a romance of Baxter. If there's time left in the summer, we might do Step 4 with Mr. Holden, because I do have the option of doing that. I could continue and reload at the end of I think it's this one right here. Yeah, the last one I did before, where I could pick which DLC I want to do. So we might do that. Otherwise, we're going to do something different next for a little while. I have another plan. It's vaguely adjacent to this, if I can get it to work. So we'll see you for that very soon. Take care of yourselves and each other. Be good, and always just be kind. We'll see you again next time.